How did one work emergency turn into papers handed to me in a bright office lobby in front of people who knew my name? What small detail made my husband stop arguing and start acting calm, like he already had the ending planned? My name is Lavinia Waitley, and I used to believe I was the honest one in our house. I said I carried the feelings for both of us. I said Ethan only carried rules. That story felt clean in my mouth, like a mint. It also made it easy to do what I wanted. That Thursday started normal. The kids ate cereal at the kitchen counter. Noah made a little tower with his spoon and said it was a robot. Maya copied him and spilled milk. Ethan wiped it up fast, like he always did. He asked if I could pack Maya's extra socks for school. I said I would do it later. He asked if we could talk tonight. I said I was tired of heavy talks. I watched him pour coffee and stand in the same spot, like a person waiting for a bus that never came. I told myself he liked being a victim. I told myself he liked to make me feel guilty. He asked if I was staying late again. I said work had a deadline. He asked what time I would be home. I said I did not know. He said he did not like I don't know anymore. I said he was acting like my manager. He said he was only asking as my husband. I said husbands should trust. When he drove the kids to school, I stayed in the kitchen and looked at my phone. Miles had sent a short message. He said he missed me and that I deserved fun, not lectures. I did not answer right away. I let the message sit there like a prize. At the office, I walked in with my busy face. I wore it like armor. Tessa saw me by the copy machine and asked how things were at home. I said Ethan was in one of his moods. She asked what kind of mood. I said the jealous kind. I said he was always worried I would leave him. That was not true, not fully, but it sounded good. It made me look wanted. Around lunch, my manager asked if I could finish a campaign draft by end of day. I said yes, even though I knew I would not. I liked saying yes because it made me look strong. It also gave me a reason to be late. I checked my calendar and made a small plan. I did not write it down in words. I just told myself I had control. I answered Miles and told him I could meet later. He replied fast. He said he would pick a place with a view. He said I would not regret it. I felt warm and important, like I was the main person in my own movie. In the afternoon, Ethan sent a message asking if I needed him to order dinner for the kids. I said yes and told him not to wait for me. He asked if I could call for 1 minute. I said I was in a meeting. He asked if the meeting was loud. I said it was. He sent a small heart emoji. It made me angry, which sounds strange, but it did. The heart felt like a leash. Near 5, I told my manager I needed to leave for a client call. He nodded. Nobody cared. That was the funny part. I was not trapped. I was not controlled. I was free. I just liked saying I was trapped because it made my choices look like survival. I went to the restroom and fixed my hair. I practiced a tired face in the mirror. I practiced a small sigh. I could sell tired. I could sell hurt. I could sell anything if I stayed calm. Miles met me outside a building downtown. We did not do anything loud. We did not hold hands in a dramatic way. Still, I felt seen. He asked how Ethan was. I said Ethan was difficult. He said I deserved a man who understood me. I said I just needed respect. It sounded noble when I said it. It hid the messy truth under a clean word. We went up to a rooftop bar with soft lights. I chose that place because it looked good online. I ordered a drink and took a photo of the glass near the city lights. I did not show Miles in the photo. I told myself that meant I was careful. I posted the photo with a caption about finally breathing. I watched the likes appear like little sparks. Tessa replied with fire emojis. My sister Brittany replied with a laughing face and said, I looked alive. My mother Darlene sent a message asking if Ethan was behaving. I said he was being intense again. She told me I should not let a man shrink me. I like that line. I repeated it in my head. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. Ethan called around 7. I let it ring twice before I answered. He asked where I was. I said I was still at work. He asked why it sounded like music. I said someone had a speaker in the office. He asked if I could step outside and talk. I said I could not, because my manager was right there. He asked if I was coming home tonight. I said I would try. He did not yell. That made me uneasy. I wanted him to be the bad guy, because then I could be the good one. Instead, he said he was worried and asked me to drive safe. I told him he was overreacting. I told him he had anxiety and should deal with it. He went quiet for a moment. Then he said he loved me. I said I had to go. Miles asked what he wanted. I said Ethan was checking up on me again. Miles rolled his eyes like Ethan was a joke. I liked that. It made me feel powerful. I told myself a strong woman does not answer to a man. I told myself I was teaching Ethan a lesson. Later, when the bar got louder, I said I should go. Miles offered to walk me to my car. I said yes. We took the elevator down with strangers, and I stood a little apart from him, like a stranger too. I called that boundaries. It was really fear. In the parking garage, my footsteps echoed. The lights were harsh. I remember that because it made everything look more real. Miles leaned close and asked if I was sure. I said I was sure. I told myself this was not betrayal. I told myself Ethan had pushed me here by being too much. When I got to my car, I saw a message from Ethan again. He asked if I was okay and said the kids asked for me. I stared at the words, and for 1 second my stomach tightened. Then I hardened my face. I wrote back that I was too tired to drive, and that I would sleep at Tessa's. I told myself it was a smart lie. I told myself nobody would check. I drove anyway, not to Tessa's. I went to a quiet hotel lobby cafe first, because it was open and safe, and I wanted to look like a person with a normal life. I bought a tea with my card. I sat where a camera could see me. I do not know why I did that. Maybe part of me already felt the need to build a story. I did not come home that night. I told myself Ethan deserved the discomfort. I told myself I deserved peace. Before I fell asleep, I opened my rooftop photo again. A small suggestion sat under it, like a helpful whisper from the app. It tried to tag the location for me. It named the bar. It was so small, just a line of text, but it felt like a bright light in my face. I stared at it and thought about Ethan's calm voice. I thought about how he liked details. I told myself it did not matter. I told myself Ethan would never notice, but I could not stop looking at that small line. I woke up with a dry mouth and a bright headache, like the night had scraped me clean and left nothing soft behind. The room was quiet. My phone had 3 messages from Ethan and 1 missed call. I did not open them right away. I stared at the screen like it was a test, and I wanted to pass without admitting I had done anything wrong. Miles sent 1 message too. He said he had fun and that I should not stress. He added a smiley face. That annoyed me. It was easy for him to stay light. He did not have kids asking where I was. He did not have a husband who could remember every small detail. I finally opened Ethan's messages. He asked if I got to Tessa's safely. He asked if I could send a quick thumbs up. He asked if I could call before the kids went to school. His words were plain. There was no threat in them. That made me feel like I was the one holding a knife, even if I pretended I was not. I typed that I was fine and that I would call later. Then I turned the phone face down again, like that could erase my choices. When I got home mid-morning, Ethan was in the kitchen. Noah was at the table with a workbook. Maya was coloring on the floor. The air smelled like toast. Ethan looked up once, slow. He did not rush me. He did not demand an explanation like a movie husband. He just waited. He asked where I had been. I said I told him. I stayed at Tessa's. He asked if I could look him in the eye and say it. I said he was being dramatic. He said he was not trying to trap me. He just wanted the truth. I said truth was not the issue, his attitude was. Noah glanced up, quick, like a little animal listening for thunder. I forced a smile and asked him about school. He answered with a small voice. Maya ran to me and hugged my legs. That should have made me feel bad. It did, for half a second. Then I told myself the kids needed a happy mother more than a perfect one. Ethan asked if I could shower and rest, and then we could talk later. I said he was trying to control when I spoke. He said he was trying to keep the kids calm. I said he was using them as a shield. I went upstairs and changed clothes. I looked in the mirror and practiced a softer face. I needed to look tired, not guilty. I could do tired. I could do wronged. Those were my best roles. At work, I showed up late and told my manager I had a family issue. He asked if everything was okay. I said yes, but my husband was being intense again. He nodded, in that distant way people nod when they want the conversation to end. Still, I kept going. I needed my story to live in other mouths. That is how a story becomes real. Tessa found me by my desk and asked if I was okay. I said I barely slept because Ethan kept texting me like I was a child. She asked if I had stayed with her last night. I watched her face. I saw the small pause before she answered. I leaned in and told her softly that I had said her name because it was safer. I told her Ethan could get weird, and I did not want him showing up somewhere. Tessa looked uncomfortable. She asked what I meant by weird. I said he asked too many questions and made me feel watched. I did not say he had never yelled at me. I did not say he had never hit me. I did not say he always stayed lawful and careful. Those facts did not help me. Tessa asked if I needed her to say something if Ethan asked. I said yes, just a simple line, and I would owe her. I smiled like it was a small favor, like borrowing sugar. Tessa nodded, but her eyes did not match her nod. I told myself she would do it anyway. People like being on the right side. Around noon, Ethan sent another message. He asked if we could talk tonight after the kids slept. I said yes, but I added that he needed to stay calm. That way, if he got upset, it would look like he broke the deal. In the afternoon, I went to a co-working lounge near our office. I did not need to go. I already had a desk, but the lounge was public and had a check-in feature. I bought a coffee and sat there for 20 minutes, just long enough to make a clean digital footprint. I told myself it was smart. I told myself Ethan forced me to become smart like this. On the way home, I called Brittany. She asked if I had fun last night. I said I did not have fun. I just needed space. She said Ethan needed to stop acting like I was property. I agreed fast. My mother joined the call for a minute and asked if Ethan was sulking. I said he was playing victim again. She said men do that when they are losing control. I liked that phrase, losing control. It made me feel like a winner. That evening, the house felt split down the middle. Ethan cooked pasta. He served the kids first. He asked Noah about his day and listened like each word mattered. I watched him and felt a strange heat in my chest. It was not love. It was irritation. He looked like a good man. A good man was harder to justify cheating on. After dinner, Ethan put 2 mugs on the counter again, far apart. He washed his and set it on the far side. He did not touch mine. It was such a small thing, but it made me feel like I was contagious. He asked if we could talk in the living room. I said yes, but I kept my phone in my hand. He asked if I could put it down. I said he was proving my point. He said he only wanted 1 hour of honesty. I said honesty was not possible when he acted like a judge. He asked again where I slept. I said Tessa's. He asked what time I arrived there. I said late. He asked what late meant. I said after midnight. He asked if I ate anything. I said no. He asked if I could describe Tessa's couch. I laughed and asked if he wanted me to draw him a map. I said he was being creepy. He did not raise his voice. He nodded once, like he was taking a note in his head. That scared me. Anger is messy, but it is easy to push against. Silence is clean. Silence feels like a door closing. He said he was not trying to win, he was trying to understand what changed in me. I said nothing changed, he just got more insecure. He said he felt like I was somewhere else, even when I was home. I said he was imagining things because he had too much time. Noah walked in at that moment to ask for water. Ethan got up and got it without looking at me. Noah asked if we were mad. Ethan said we were just talking. I said Dad was stressed. Noah stared at us like he did not believe either of us. Later, when the kids were in bed, I heard a soft sound from the laundry room. It was a steady hum, like a small machine working. I walked closer and saw Ethan near the counter. He was not doing laundry. The shredder light blinked. He fed something through, slow. I could not see what it was. He did not hide it, but he did not show it either. I asked what he was shredding. He said old papers. I asked why now. He said he was cleaning. His voice stayed flat. He did not act guilty. He acted organized. I went upstairs and opened my phone again. I looked at my rooftop photo. The suggested location tag still sat there, cheerful and sure. I wanted to delete the post, but deleting felt like admitting fear. I told myself Ethan would not look that closely. I told myself I was still the smart one. Still, my hands shook a little when I turned my phone off. My name stayed on people's tongues after that night, and I liked it. I told myself attention meant I was right. I told myself Ethan's silence meant he had no defense. That weekend, I pushed the story harder, because a story gets stronger when more people repeat it. On Saturday afternoon, I met Tessa and 2 other co-workers at a rooftop bar near the river. The place had glass rails and soft music, and everyone held their phones like little mirrors. I chose a table where the city lights would look good in photos. I told myself I was just relaxing. I also knew Ethan might see it, because he followed my accounts. I called that being honest. It was really bait. Tessa asked how things were at home. I said Ethan had been checking on me non-stop. One co-worker asked if he was worried. I said he was controlling. Another asked if we needed help. I said the best help was people knowing the truth. I spoke like I was doing a public service. I posted a new photo, smiling, drink in hand, caption about peace. In the comments, Brittany wrote that I deserved better. Darlene wrote a line about strong women. I let the words sit there like a fence around me. Ethan texted while I was there. He asked if I could pick up Noah's art folder from school on Monday. He also asked if we could talk about our budget before the next bill cycle. I stared at the messages and felt annoyed that he stayed normal. I wanted him frantic. I wanted him messy. I wanted proof he was the villain. Instead, he asked about folders and bills. Tessa asked why I looked tense. I said Ethan would not let me breathe. She asked if he was calling. I said he did not need to, because he always had a way of making me feel guilty. Tessa nodded, but her face still looked unsure. I told myself she was just tired. I took another photo and made sure the background did not show a clear location tag. I thought I was being careful. Still, my hands moved fast, like I was hiding something even from myself. That evening, we had a family dinner at a big restaurant with a long table. It was planned weeks before, and I refused to cancel. Canceling would look like Ethan won. I wanted him sitting there while I acted calm, like a judge with a perfect smile. My mother arrived first and hugged me hard. She asked if I was okay. I said Ethan was being strange lately. She asked if he was treating me right. I said he was intense. Brittany laughed and said men panic when they realize women can leave. I agreed. I liked the way it sounded. Ethan came with the kids. Noah held his backpack straps tight. Maya carried a small toy and kept looking at my face. Ethan said hello to everyone in a plain voice. He asked my mother how her knee was doing. He asked the waiter for water for the kids. He did not act like a guilty man. He acted like a steady one. Darlene asked Ethan, loud enough for the table to hear, if he was done interrogating me. Ethan looked at her and said he only cared about the kids' routine and safety. Darlene rolled her eyes and said he always talked like a lawyer. I smiled and said he liked being right more than being kind. George and Patricia arrived after. Patricia hugged the kids and looked at me with a face that did not smile. She asked if I had been feeling better. I said I was doing my best with everything. George asked Ethan if work was busy. Ethan said yes, and he kept his voice flat. Caleb sat down and did not joke like he usually did. The air felt thick, but I kept talking because talking was how I controlled the room. When the food came, I started telling a story about how Ethan tracked my phone. I said he asked where I was every hour. I said he treated me like a teenager. People laughed a little. Brittany added that Ethan needed therapy. Darlene said men like him fear strong women. I nodded like an expert. Ethan did not interrupt. He cut Maya's food and helped Noah with his straw. He did not look at me when I spoke. That made me feel invisible, and I hated that more than I hated being caught. Noah asked why Dad was quiet. I said Dad was upset because he could not control everything. Ethan glanced at Noah and said he was not upset, he was just listening. Noah looked confused. I told myself kids are easy to shape with words. Still, Noah's eyes stayed worried. After dinner, as people stood up and put on coats, my mother said, Ethan should be grateful I stayed. I added that marriages need balance, and Ethan needed to stop acting like a victim. Patricia's mouth went tight. She told me the kids needed peace, not speeches. I said Patricia always took Ethan's side. Patricia said she took the kids' side. That stung, because it implied I was not on that side. In the car on the way home, Ethan asked if we could agree not to discuss adult issues around the kids. I said he was trying to control my voice. He said he was trying to protect them. I said he was exaggerating. He stayed quiet, and the quiet felt like a wall. The next day, I went to the supermarket and took the kids with me. Ethan came too, which annoyed me, because I wanted to look like a single hero mother. In the aisles, I moved fast and acted like he was following me. I told myself that was his fault. At the checkout, Ethan started separating items. He put kids' snacks and school things in one pile. He put my beauty products in another pile. He asked the cashier to ring them separately. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing. I said he was being petty. He said he was being clear. The cashier looked between us like she was watching a show. I smiled and said Ethan liked control systems. The cashier laughed politely. Ethan did not react. He paid for the kids' pile and handed me the receipt for mine. I felt a flash of shame, but I turned it into anger fast. I told myself he was trying to embarrass me. That afternoon I went to the gym. I did not even want to work out. I wanted the check-in record. I walked in, scanned my card, and smiled at the front desk worker like I was normal. I stayed only long enough to fill a water bottle. I told myself this was smart. I told myself Ethan would never connect times like dots. When I got home, Ethan was in the driveway looking at the car. He was not under the hood in a dramatic way. He just looked at the dashboard area, like he was checking something simple. He noticed me and said hello. I asked what he was doing. He said he was making sure the car was set up safely for winter. I said he always found an excuse to monitor things. He said he liked being prepared. Inside the house, Noah asked if we could have movie night. Ethan said yes. I said I was tired and went upstairs. In the bedroom, I scrolled through my phone and looked at my gym check-in time. It was a clean stamp on the day. For a moment, I felt proud. Then I remembered the night I did not come home, and I tried to line up my story in my head. I told Ethan I was at work late. I told him I slept at Tessa's. I told people he was controlling. The more I repeated it, the more it sounded real. Still, one small problem kept poking through. If I was at Tessa's all night, then why did I need a gym check-in the next day to prove where I was? That question came from a place in me I did not like. I pushed it down. Ethan knocked once on the door, and asked if I could come down for the movie. I said I would in a minute. He said okay and walked away. He did not beg, he did not argue, he did not slam anything. I sat on the bed and stared at my phone, waiting for Miles to message. A part of me wanted him to confirm I was still wanted. A bigger part of me feared he would not, because then the whole thing would feel stupid. When the phone stayed silent, I told myself Ethan was the reason I felt lonely, not my own choices. I told myself I was still the hero of this story, and I just needed everyone else to keep believing it. By Monday, the house felt like two different houses sharing one roof. Ethan moved like he had a path only he could see. He did not bump into me. He did not ask for hugs. He did not ask for a fresh start. That should have made me calm. It did not. It made me feel like I was losing my place. In the morning, I went into our bedroom and saw his side empty. His phone charger was gone. His pillow was gone. Even the little pile of socks he always forgot was gone. The bed looked wider, like it did not need me. I told myself he was doing it for attention. I told myself he wanted me to chase him. I also felt a small fear that he did not. I walked downstairs and saw him making lunchboxes. He asked if I could sign Noah's school note. I said yes. He asked if I could pick up Maya's medicine after work. I said I was busy. He said he could do it. I said he was trying to look like a hero. He said he was just trying to get it done. Noah watched us from the hallway. He asked if Dad slept on the couch. Ethan said he slept in the guest room because he needed good sleep for work. I said Dad was being dramatic. Noah looked at my face like he was checking if I meant it. I hated that. Kids are supposed to trust their mum. That night, I found the guest bed made tight, like a hotel bed. Ethan's book sat on the nightstand. A glass of water was there. It looked planned. The door was not locked, but it felt locked. I told myself he was punishing me. I told myself he was being cold on purpose. On Tuesday, Ethan told me he had an appointment after work. He did not say what kind. He did not ask my permission. That made me angry, because I was used to being the one who decided what was normal. I asked where he was going. He said he had a meeting. I said he never had meetings like that. He said people change. He drove himself to a small office building. I followed in my car at a distance and told myself I was doing it to protect the family. I told myself I had a right to know. When he parked, I parked too, one row over. Inside, I saw a quiet waiting area with soft chairs and a small water dispenser. A sign on the wall talked about stress and family support, but I did not read it fully. Ethan sat with straight posture and looked at his phone. He did not look nervous. He looked steady, like he was early for a flight. I sat far enough away that he would not see me right away. I watched him breathe. I watched him scroll. I felt heat in my chest because he looked calm. I wanted him broken. Broken would prove my story. A woman at the desk asked Ethan to fill something out. He took a pen and did it without hesitation. I could not see what it was. That made me more annoyed. I wanted to know every detail. Ethan had always told me details. Now he kept them. When he stood to go inside, he finally saw me. His eyes did not widen. He did not accuse me. He only asked why I was there. I said I had errands nearby. He said it did not look like errands. I said he was being suspicious again. He said he was not suspicious, he was just observing. I hated that word, observing, because it sounded clean. Later that day, I called my mother. I told her Ethan was going to some office and acting secretive. Darlene said he was trying to scare me. She said men do that when they feel weak. Brittany heard the call and asked if I was sure it was not therapy. I said therapy was for people who admit problems, and Ethan would never admit he caused this. Brittany told me to stop making everything about blame. I told her she was taking his side now. She went quiet. At school pickup, the air was cold and bright. Cars lined up like a slow snake. Parents smiled and waved. I forced my best normal face. Ethan was there too, standing near the gate. He usually picked up the kids on Tuesdays, but I came anyway to show I was involved. I told myself that was good parenting. It was also control. A mom I barely knew asked if Ethan and I were doing okay. I said we were fine, just busy. Ethan heard her and nodded once. That made it look like we agreed. I disliked that. I wanted the world to see me as the one holding things together. Noah ran out first and looked between us. He asked who was taking him home. Ethan said he was, because he had the booster seats in his car. I said I could take them. Ethan said the plan was already set. I said he never made plans without me before. He said he made them now because someone needed to. I felt a sting behind my eyes, but I swallowed it. In the car, I called Miles. He did not answer. I sent a message asking if he could meet for 5 minutes. I said I needed to breathe. He replied later with a short line saying he could, but it had to be quick. That made me feel both wanted and disposable. I drove to a parking garage near a busy block because busy places make me feel safer. I told myself it was not a date. I told myself it was just a talk. I met Miles in the stairwell because it was quiet and we could not be seen from the street. He asked why I looked tense. I said my husband was acting weird and trying to punish me. Miles said Ethan sounded unstable. I agreed fast. I did not say Ethan had never shouted. I did not say Ethan had never touched me in anger. I did not say Ethan paid the bills on time and took the kids to school without drama. Those details did not help me. Miles asked if Ethan had proof of anything. I said Ethan had no proof because there was nothing to prove. Miles gave a look that said he did not believe me, but he did not argue. He said I needed to be careful. He said husbands can flip when they feel disrespected. I told him Ethan was too weak to flip. The second I said it, I felt a chill. It sounded like a dare. When I got home, the kitchen lights were on, but the house was quiet. Ethan was at the table with his laptop open. He was not watching videos. He was staring at a grid of numbers. I could not see the title. He clicked away fast when I came close, but not in a guilty way. More like a person protecting a boundary. I asked what he was doing. He said he was organizing expenses. I said he was obsessed with control. He said control was not the goal, safety was. I rolled my eyes and asked if he was calling me unsafe now. He said he was not calling me names, he was making plans. On the fridge, there was a sticky note that said, "Bring forms." I laughed and asked what forms he needed. Ethan said it was for school. I said school forms do not need secret meetings. He said it was not secret, I just did not ask earlier. That night, after the kids slept, I tried to pull him back into a fight, because a fight would give me something to hold. I asked if he was going to punish me forever. He asked what I meant by punish. I said the guest bed, the silence, the calm voice. He said he was not punishing me, he was protecting himself. I told him he was abandoning the marriage. He asked if I wanted honesty or comfort. I said I wanted both. He said he could not give comfort without honesty. I said honesty was hard when he acted like a judge. He said he was not judging, he was deciding what he could live with. I went to our bedroom and opened the top drawer where I kept extra cash and old letters. I pulled the handle and felt it stop. I tried again. It did not move. I heard a small click, like a tiny lock. I stared at it, confused. I went downstairs and asked if he locked my drawer. He said he locked a drawer. I asked why. He said some things needed to be safe right now. I asked safe from who? He looked at me and said softly, safe from chaos. I wanted to scream. I did not. Screaming would make me look guilty, so I laughed. I told him he was being dramatic again. He did not laugh back. He only looked tired. Later, when I tried to sleep, Ethan's phone buzzed somewhere in the guest room. I heard the faint alarm sound through the wall. It was short and calm. I heard him get up and turn it off. For a second, I imagined the label on the screen, like a small secret. I imagined words like paper drop or meeting, personal. And I told myself I was imagining things. Still, I lay there listening to his footsteps, and I could not make my heart slow down. By Wednesday, I started to feel like my own house was not mine. Not because Ethan yelled, not because he blocked doors. He did none of that. It was worse. He acted like the house had rules that did not need my agreement anymore. In the kitchen that morning, he had the kids' lunches lined up like a row of small boxes. He asked if I could drop Noah's library book in his backpack. I said he could do it himself. He asked if I could confirm pickup times for Friday. I said he was acting like a calendar app. He said he was trying to keep the week smooth. I said smooth was boring. Noah asked if we could all eat together on Saturday. Ethan said yes, if everyone stayed kind. I laughed and said he sounded like a teacher. Ethan said he did not mind sounding like one if it helped. Maya copied his word, helped, and smiled. I felt a sharp pinch in my chest, like the kids were learning his calm as the right way. After they left, I checked my phone and saw a missed call from a number with no name. I told myself it was spam. Still, I stared at it longer than I should have. I felt like something was moving under the floor, quiet and sure. At work, I decided to get ahead of Ethan's story. If he ever tried to talk to people, I wanted them to already see him as the problem. I told myself I was protecting myself. I did not say I was protecting my lie. I asked HR if I could talk quickly about personal stress. They took me into a small side room with a table and 2 chairs. The HR coordinator asked what was happening. I said my husband was becoming intense and fixated on where I was. She asked if he had threatened me. I said he had not, but he made me feel watched. She asked if I felt unsafe at work. I said sometimes, because he might show up. That was not true. Ethan had never shown up at my work to cause a scene. He had never even raised his voice on a call. But I shaped my words carefully. I made it sound like danger without saying danger. I made it sound like my fear was evidence. The coordinator asked what I wanted them to do. I said I just wanted it noted in case things got worse. She asked if I had examples. I said texts and questions and patterns. She asked if I could forward anything. I said maybe later. I did not have anything strong. I only had normal husband messages asking where I was. I needed them to feel abnormal. When I left, my hands were cold. I told myself it was because I was brave. Really, it was because I knew I was setting a trap and hoping nobody noticed. At my desk, Tessa asked how HR went. I said they understood. She asked what I told them. I said the truth. Tessa looked uneasy and asked if Ethan had ever done something actually scary. I said emotional pressure is scary too. She did not argue, but she did not smile either. I felt her pulling away, and that made me angry at Ethan, like it was his fault my friends had limits. On my lunch break, I messaged Miles and asked if he could talk later. He replied slow and said he was busy with travel. I asked if he could make time for me for once. He said he did not want drama. I stared at that line and felt stupid for the first time in a while. I told myself I did not need him. I told myself he was only a bonus. Still, my stomach turned. I had risked so much for a person who did not even want the weight of my name. That evening, there was a community fundraiser at a hall near the park. It was one of those local events with folding chairs, bright lights, and people pretending they were close. Ethan said we should go because Noah's class was involved. I said I did not want to play happy family for strangers. Ethan said it was not for strangers. It was for the kids. That line made it hard to refuse without looking like a villain. So I went. The hall was full of parents and teachers and small talk. I saw a few co-workers too. The air smelled like coffee and paper. I walked in with my head high, like I owned the space. Ethan followed with the kids, calm and quiet. A teacher asked if we could help with the table. Ethan said yes. I said I had a headache. The teacher asked if I was okay. I said marriage stress, and I smiled like I was sharing a joke. The teacher's face softened. That was what I wanted. Tessa appeared near the raffle table and asked if everything was fine. I said Ethan had been on me again, and I added a small laugh to make it sound harmless but still wrong. Another parent asked what I meant. I said he was acting like a detective. I said he did not trust me. I said I felt suffocated. Ethan heard parts of it. He did not step in to correct me. He did not grab my arm. He did not whisper threats. He only focused on Noah's class display and helped Maya color a paper heart. People saw his calm and still nodded at me because I was the one speaking. I pushed harder. I told a small group that I had not come home one night because I needed space, and Ethan acted like I had committed a crime. I said he made the kids ask questions. I said he turned them against me. That was a lie. The kids ask questions because kids notice everything. One mom said she was sorry. Another said men can be insecure. I nodded like an expert again. Ethan stood 3 steps away, listening without a face. That made my skin itch. I wanted him to react so my story could land with a clear villain. Instead, he gave me nothing. On the drive home, I tried to force a fight. I asked if he enjoyed making me look crazy by staying quiet. He asked what I meant. I said he was acting like a saint in public. He said he was acting like a father. I said he was performing. He said he did not have time to perform. At home, the kids went upstairs to change into pajamas. Ethan walked into the garage and turned on the light. I followed because I hated not knowing what he was doing. He opened the car door and leaned inside like he was checking something near the console. He did not hide his hands, but he did not explain either. I asked what he was looking for. He said he was cleaning out old receipts and making the car neat. I said he was obsessed with proof. He asked what proof I thought he needed. I said he was trying to build a case against me. He looked at me for a long moment, then looked away. I stepped closer and asked if he had been recording me. He said he was not breaking any laws. That answer made my throat tighten. I asked again, louder, if he was recording me. He said he was careful with everything he did. He said he would keep being careful. I told him he was scaring me. He asked if I wanted him to yell instead, because that would match the story I kept telling. I froze, because it felt like he could see my thoughts. I tried to flip it. I said he was the one destroying the marriage with his coldness. He asked if I believed that. I said yes. I said I only did what I did because he pushed me. He asked what I did. I said nothing. He nodded once, like he expected that answer. Then he said, in the same calm voice, that he would not argue anymore. He said he would not chase me for honesty. He said he would handle what came next properly. I laughed and asked what properly meant. He looked at the garage floor, then back at me, and he repeated it like a final sentence. He said he would handle it properly. Friday morning, Ethan texted that he needed me to meet him downtown at noon. He said it was about the kids' schedule. I asked why it could not wait. He said it could not. I told myself he was staging a scene. I arrived at the office tower lobby. Ethan stood near a bench, calm, hands empty. He asked if I could stand there for a minute. I said he was being dramatic. He said he wanted it done clean. A woman walked up and said my full name like she knew me. She asked if I was Lavinia Waitley. I said yes. She handed me an envelope and said I had been served. My cheeks burned. I asked Ethan if this was a joke. He said it was not. I opened the papers. I saw words about divorce and temporary orders. I saw a parenting schedule with school pickup times and exchange points. I saw a rule that neither of us could take the kids out of town without written agreement. I saw a line about keeping money steady and not moving funds. I could not breathe. I asked how he could do this to me. He said he was doing it properly. I said he was trying to ruin my life. He said he was trying to stop the lies. He told me, in a low voice, that one small detail broke everything. He said my card charge for tea at the hotel cafe matched the night I claimed I slept at Tessa's. He said the parking garage entry time matched it too. He said my rooftop photo still showed the place when someone clicked details. I said those things meant nothing. He said they meant I was not where I said I was. When I went to the school pickup line that same day, Patricia was already there. She said she would follow the new schedule. Noah held Ethan's hand.